friends. We're factoring by parts. Here's what I did. I cut it in half. I took some stuff out of this guy. I took some stuff out of this guy. Okay, sorry, absent friends. I forgot to say. Okay, so if those two parentheses match, and they should, it's self-checking. If they match, here's what we do. We, in essence, factor them a second time. So we are going to factor out this guy and this guy, and we're going to put them right here, 2x plus 3, and in essence, they cancel away because I've rewritten them, and then I just see what's left. And what's left is going to be right here, this guy, and this guy, so it will look like this. You remember that? So factoring by parts. Love me some factoring by parts. It's very algorithmic, which means it just follows a process. Not a lot of thinking. Love this to you. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Good. I'll come back to you. Yeah.
No. Why don't you square the 2x?
Oh, because if I took out a 4x plus 8, I would take out a 4, correct? And I'd be left with x plus 2. I wouldn't take out a 4 squared. I'm factoring this out. That's really all I'm doing. Yep. Okay. Let's try. There's 2. Let's not try this one. We're going to do this one in a minute. He's a little scary. With your neighbors, on your desk, on your arm, on your paper. Please factor that one by parts. Seven p squared's coming out. 3p minus 7. Pulling out a 6 on this guy. And I'm going to be left with 3p minus 7. Do they match? Yay, they match. So one of the questions I got last period was, what if does the order of those parentheses matter? And it doesn't really, but almost all the answers are going to have the thing with the bigger exponent, with the bigger degree, will go usually first. Is it fine to do it the other way? It is, but if you want your answers to match, they're going to do that guy first because it's got the bigger degree. Everybody okay with that one? Okay, we're going to step up our game a tiny bit. Let's take a look at this guy. This guy is a little dicey. If you are ignoring me, do this one because this one's a little dicey. We're going to have a little bit of issue in the back, and we're going to talk about that in a second. If you want to give it a try, I'm going to do it with you. But we're going to have a little bit of issue, and I'm going to give you a little hint. We're going to watch for this dude right here. We're going to watch for him like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember that. Yeah. So here's what. Ladies, are you ready? We're going to start with the first two. We're going to cut this bad boy in half. I'm going to take out a 2x squared. I'm left with 8x plus 1. Yay. Now on the next one, a couple things you got to watch for. First thing is, if this is negative, it's going to be negative whatever I pull out. But here's the second thing. I always have to pull out something. So if there is nothing that goes into 1 and 8, 1 does. So you can't not pull out anything. So we're going to pull out a negative 1. And watch why I want to do that. It's going to flip the signs around so it will become 8x plus 1. If I didn't do that, those two bad boys would not have matched, right? So we're going to be really careful on that one. That's one of my parentheses, x plus, 8x. What the hell? X plus 1 is my other. 2x. So first thing is I take this guy, put him here and here. Are you good with that? Then I get rid of him and just write what's left over. And what's left over is this guy and this guy. Okay, so here's the next thing I need everyone to realize, girls in the back. Because it's pre-calc, every problem from here on out, I need you to test if it can vacuum first, right? Because that is a total, like in calc, for those of you who are going on, and for those friends of mine and seniors who are going to retake this class to get an A in college pre-calc, you're going to need to be able to factor out stuff every single time when you first start. So I got my little vacuum here ready. Before I dive into this problem, I am going to run my little vacuum through it and see if I can suck. Look at that, I took the time to make that. I'm going to suck out anything to make the problem simpler, right? So before I start this problem, it looks like I can take out a 2. That is awesome. Anything else? N squared, n to the second. Now go ahead, get ready to do this problem. 5n to the third minus 10n squared minus 7n plus 14. Go ahead, do the guts. Cut it in half, factor it. That 2n squared is part of your problem. It doesn't go away.
Wait, I have a question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you might have just said it. Why can't we just cut it in half?
You can, and you can probably do it, but then at the next step, when we start to solve it, we're going to have to factor it again.
Okay.
So if we factor it from the beginning, it makes a hard problem a little simpler, but we're going to have to do it at some point.
Okay.
Good question. I'm trying to do this in my head. Is that right? Did I do that right in my head? Nice, nice. Thank you. I appreciate How'd you do?
Yeah.
Is it 5 and minus? Yeah, minus 7. Sorry. See, couldn't quite do it in my head. Okay, so yes. Oh no, you don't have to put it in parentheses. You just got to know that it's there. Good question. So it can look like this. So here's why. We're heading to the big time now. The whole point, the reason we do this is because now it's time to get answers out, right? So really, the only way we can really do anything in math to get answers, at least at this level, at the algebra level, is to get, these are called linear factors. And that's what we know how to do, or even little quadratic factors. That's all we really know how to do. So we need to take things that are very confusing and break them down, because that's how we know how to do it, right? So what we're going to start doing is saying to ourselves, what magic number would make this whole mess equal 0? And it turns out there isn't one answer. There isn't even 2 answers. There isn't 3 or 4. There are 5 different answers. How do I know that in my head? Because that's going to tell me. So here's something you might need to write down. I don't know. It's up to you. Here's what I need you to know. From here on out, especially if you're going to go to calc and if you're going to take college algebra, there are 3 ways to ask the exact, ladies, 3 ways to ask the exact same question. One is you can say, solve the equation. That is an awesome way. Solve the equation. The other way we can say it is we can say, find the zeros. It's the same thing. And the third way we can say it is find the roots. And I have kids who are taking the PSAT tomorrow who are going to get, like, I don't know what they're even asking you to do. If they say solve or zeros or roots, they're asking the same damn question, which is set it equal to 0. Mommy, put your computer away. This is not the same thing. No. Yeah, we're going to do this, right? Yeah, okay. So, and here's what you need to know. The degree of the function is the number of roots of the function. So let's start solving. Let's do it, baby. Let's solve these things. Are you ready? So the first thing that we are going to do is we need to find the zeros or solve it or find the roots. And we do it the same way every time. We set it equal to 0. So I'm going to just get rid of that guy for now. And then we're going to think back in our little thinking heads. First thing, can I vacuum this? I'm going to come through my little vacuum. Is there a number that goes into all those? No, there's not. Second thing I'm going to think to myself, what about X factoring? Can I use fancy X factoring? Factors of 15 that make 8. Yeah, I can do that. So I'm ready to go ahead and say factors of 15 that make 8. There are two numbers that multiply to be 15 and make 8. That is 5 and 3. Are you good? So now our last thing that we're going to do is we're going to set this bad boy up like this. X plus 5, X plus 3 equals 0. But remember, this is quadratic form. It's not X and X. What is it? X squared. It's X squared. Now we're going to the next step, right? We're adding that next step in, which is right here. We're going to take this bad boy and say X squared plus 5 equals 0. And X squared plus 3 equals 0. Remember this from last year? We are going to get, now we're looking, if I do this right, I better get 4 answers. 4 answers. So let's see if we can find all 4 of those answers. So here we go. Let me move these down a little bit. Okay, let's start with that bad boy. We're going to say X squared minus 5 equals 0. I'm sorry, plus 5 equals 0. Move the 5 over. X squared equals negative 5. What do I do next? Square root it. I square root both sides, right? Because I'm getting rid of that squared. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to get X equals, what's wrong with a negative in a root? What the hell do I do with that? I get an I, right? But here's what. That's X squared. That means there are 2 answers hiding in there. What's my other one? Plus or minus. Nicely done. Anytime we have an X squared, we need to remember we don't get 1 answer. We get 2. I am down, 2 down, 2 more to go. Can you please, with your neighbor, find me the last 2? Should be really easy. You might even be able to do it. Huh?
You sound like one of the players.
I did not hear the last part. I sound like, I do sound like Fuzzy. Like, I do. Now I do. Yeah, because I got that kind of sing-songy thing happening right now. Sorry, I'll stop that. And then just makes fun of me because he thinks I look over everyone's head. So now I really go out of my way to stare at people. So I looked at Corey, and Corey kind of awkwardly looked away. That was like, making eye contact, and he was like, ooh, awkward. I look at it right now. So X squared, flipping it is now. So it goes into the parentheses. Now it comes out by, because really, if I get X plus 5 equals 0, it's really X plus 5 equals 0, X equals negative 5. Right? That's what flips it, is flipping it, right? From solving. That's what makes it naughty, is solving. Yeah. Huh? We are, but like I got like 3 minutes to do two more examples.
6 more minutes.
Okay, here you go. You guys ready? Find the solution. It will be last time. But before we do it, vacuum this. So Liam's going to vacuum before he starts, and then do it. I'm not going to sing something. Please vacuum this before you do it. Do it. Vacuum this before you start. You need to come up with
3 X.
4 answers.
Oh no, mine. Just X.
4 answers. It's all coming back to you. Guess what we do tomorrow? My favorite thing in the world. Synthetic division. Remember that? I love using synthetic division. I love solving with synthetic division. Remember, I give you one of the answers and then you suck it out. And then you
So what do you take
Let's-
out? What do you got to do?
I take out an x before I start.
That's what I thought.
X to the third minus 2x squared. Did you all do your homework?
Yes.
That's what I like to hear.
I was saying.
How do I know if I use x factoring or if I use by parts? Anyone know? The four things, yeah.
There's so many
It's got, yeah, it's got four little, obviously if it's got 3 parts, I can't cut it in half. So I need an even number to cut this bad boy in half.
Actually, going to say that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my, the way you said that, oh my goodness. Mommy, you're good now. Now you have your phone, now you're good. Now you are literally you're trying to piss me off. Go ahead. What do you need to do? I know. You know what? Because I like girls better. I'm just going to say it right off. That's all right.
I'm recording it.
It's on the, it's right here. But you know what? Don't we all? There we go. So here we go. Let's find our 4 answers.
No, let's
Here's
work
1, 2, right? It's got no squared. I can pull it out backwards, nice and easy. This dude, a little bit messy. X squared plus 3 equals 0. X squared equals -3. Guess what? That means I'm going to get some i's in there. So I'm going to do them up here because I'm running out of space. I root 3 and negative I root 3. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. What the hell is my last one? 0. That's right. This dude right here, he counts. He is 0. That is it, my lambs. I am going to give you, there are 10 problems. Please do 8, but don't skip the last 2. You know I sequence this. Don't be babies. That's it.
Yeah, why do I need a phone there?
Because everyone had an X before I started. So it makes it problem.
How many problems are you
Well, so here's what you can. Yeah, you can do it at the end there. You almost take what kind of me. That was me. That was me. Can you what? I think they're in the sting, and if they're not in that bin, it says, and how is that? Nice. How does it feel? That's all you can. But it's not in the right, it's
You got that.
No. But you'd probably be
Let's stay with
and all of Thomas' friends.
I'm transferring. I'm doing it. I'm gonna do this because.
Thomas, right? It would have been what I like, yay! Did I give Don't leave. Don't leave.
Check on the kid too. Miss Tantino. Did you not? Did you not have kids?
Wait! Okay, go.
Then you're not a kid.
Yeah, right?
You said I have a kid. I have a kid.
You have a kid? You do not. You really? Okay, that's me. Maybe you do.
She's like in the country.
You don't know how old is she? Okay, I'm a little freaked out because it is possible that you could have a kid, but you were 15 years? Okay, yeah, that's adorable. That could also be you never.
But look at the symbols.
Yes, I guess it's just like, don't, that's not your kid.
That's my kid. The big one was like that one too. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, now you're making me smart. Okay, like, wow. Not that I am that anymore. Oh, yeah. Stop! Oh my God, it's sleeping.